Welcome back. Here we are at the end. Video 9 of 9, the router table. What I have here is a router table that's clamped to the work table that I'm going to be using to route a profile on the edges of my slat and half slat. A couple things about the router table is 2-inch margin of safety. I have a fence here that's clamped to the table to allow me to run the piece of wood across the router bit, keeping it against the fence and flat on the table. Just like any machine, you want to keep your board flat on the table. I have a 3/8 inch round over bit set up on the router table, which is going to put a rounded edge, rounded profile on my piece of slat and or half slat and slat. Another thing we have are these handheld routers. Anytime your board or your part for your project is too large to put on the router table, we have to use a handheld router, clamping the board to the table and then running the router across the surface and keeping the router bit against the edge and end of the board. Router table's much easier. All you got to do, put your board flat on the table, put it against the fence, run a piece of wood across. With a router table, from right to left. With a handheld router, it's left to right. Alright, so the thing about this router table is it's somewhat small. They make larger ones. I have another one that we use for home maintenance that has a different profile on it for making picture frames, and it's got a larger base to it. This router table, has the router that's mounted with the power button right on here. The other one has the power switch right in front. Again, safety glasses. There's no dust collection system to the router table. The key, though, is keeping your fingers on top, keeping the board flat on the table and against the fence. You don't want to go too fast and you don't want to go too slow. If for some reason I go and the board moves away, I can go across the bit numerous times. It's not going to change the profile. Alright, so if you run it across, you realize, oh, I skipped a spot, just go back across it and it'll clean it up. The surface that you want to have the profile will always go down on the table. So since my countersinks are here, that's the top, that's what I want to do is route these edges so the countersinks are going to go down. Okay, so I turn it on, fingers on top, start on the right, move it to the left, you see the profile here, spin it around, and proceed. So you can see, took a sharp corner, made it into a rounded profile. Dresses up the table nicely. Okay, my slat, same thing. These are my countersinks, so they're going to go down on the table. Turn it on, start on the right. Flip it around. Makes a rather mess. They're just wood chips. So you can see the profile, same as the one we did on the half slat. My countersinks are up, and that dresses up the top of the table nicely. Now, some people like to route both surfaces, all four corners. That's fine. That's an option you can do. Some people do the ends as well. If you were doing the ends, it would be the same thing. Keep it against the fence, flat on the table, run it across. Okay? Now the only thing left to do to these is sand them and assemble them, then apply your poly. So this is video 9 of 9, the router table. Thanks, hope you enjoy. Get on the web page, take the quiz for each power tool, and good luck.